It was supposed to be one of the most daring rescue missions in U.S. history. A secret plan to storm Tehran, free 52 American hostages, and bring them home alive. Instead, it became a fiery nightmare in the middle of the Iranian desert. A mission so disastrous that it reshaped U.S. special operations forever. This is the true story of Operation Eagle Claw, the failed 1980 mission the U.S. government tried to forget. November 4th, 1979, an angry mob of Iranian students storms the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. The revolution that overthrew the Shah is still raging, and anti-American sentiment is at its peak. Within hours, more than 50 American diplomats and citizens are taken hostage. The images shocked the world. Television screens across America filled with scenes of blindfolded hostages and chanting revolutionaries waving rifles in the air. Every day, new footage showed terrified Americans trapped inside the embassy and a helpless U.S. government scrambling for a solution. President Jimmy Carter faces mounting pressure. Negotiations fail, sanctions fail, and with every passing day, the humiliation deepens. For 444 days, the world watched the United States, the most powerful nation on earth, unable to free its own citizens. So Carter turns to the military. If diplomacy couldn't save the hostages, maybe force could. The mission: a daring rescue inside one of the most hostile cities on Earth. Operation Eagle Claw was a plan unlike anything the U.S. had attempted before. A multi-branch operation requiring absolute precision, flawless timing, and near-impossible coordination. It involved Delta Force, America's newly formed counter-terrorism unit, supported by the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps. Their objective: infiltrate deep into Iran, storm the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, rescue the hostages, and fly them to safety, all without alerting Iranian forces. The mission would unfold in several phases. Phase 1. A group of C-130 Hercules transport planes would fly from Oman to a remote desert landing zone in central Iran, codenamed Desert 1. They'd carry fuel, vehicles, and Delta operators. Phase 2. 8 RH-53D Sea Stallion helicopters would launch from the USS Nimitz in the Arabian Sea, flying 600 miles across Iran's barren landscape to rendezvous at Desert 1. Phase 3. After refueling, the helicopters would carry Delta Force toward Tehran. They'd hide during the day in a secret location near the city, then launch a night assault on the U.S. Embassy. After freeing the hostages, they would head to a nearby soccer stadium where C-141 transport planes would land and extract everyone to safety. The entire operation would depend on timing, navigation, and perfect coordination between multiple branches of the U.S. military. There was no room for error, but from the very beginning, the plan was doomed. April 24th, 1980. Night falls over the Iranian desert. The C-130s depart Oman and head toward the unmarked landing site. The crews are tense. Everything must go right. They arrive on schedule, landing on a flat stretch of desert illuminated only by infrared lights visible through night vision goggles. But then, the problems begin. The RH-53D helicopters flying in from the USS Nimitz hit a massive haboob, a violent desert sandstorm that stretches for miles. Visibility drops to near zero. Sand clogs engines. Navigation systems begin to fail. One helicopter turns back due to mechanical issues. Another is forced to land for repairs. Pilots are disoriented, flying blind over hostile territory. When the helicopters finally reach Desert 1, the mission is already behind schedule, and only 6 of the 8 have made it. That's the absolute minimum required to complete the operation. Then disaster strikes again. One of the 6 operational helicopters suffers a hydraulic failure. The crew reports it can't continue. Colonel Charles Beckwith, the legendary founder of Delta Force and mission commander on the ground, now faces an impossible decision. Continue the operation with fewer aircraft, risking complete failure, or abort the mission and pull back. He makes the call. Abort.
Abort, abort, we have a mission kill.
We have an abort signal on the dash.
Confirmed, execute abort procedure.
But the desert wasn't done claiming lives. As the teams prepare to leave, one of the RH-53 helicopters attempts to reposition for refueling. Blinded by swirling dust, the pilot can't see the parked C-130 Hercules nearby. In the chaos, the helicopter's rotor clips the C-130's fuselage. In an instant, boom! A massive explosion rips through the desert. Fire engulfs both aircraft. A wall of flame lights up the night sky. 8 American servicemen are killed instantly. 5 Air Force crewmen and 3 Marines. Others are thrown to the ground, dazed and burned. Ammunition starts cooking off. The heat is unbearable. Troops scramble to evacuate the area before the flames reach the other aircraft. The survivors load into the remaining C-130s and take off, leaving behind wreckage, vehicles, and the bodies of their fallen comrades. Operation Eagle Claw is over. The mission has failed. Back in Washington, the mood is somber. President Carter addresses the nation in a televised statement.
I want the American people to know that I take full responsibility for the failure of this mission. It was my decision, and the burden falls on me.
The mission was aborted when equipment failure made it impossible to proceed. For the American public, it's a gut punch. For the hostages still trapped in Tehran, it's a chilling reminder that no one is coming for them. Not yet. The failed mission becomes a political catastrophe. Carter's approval ratings collapse. Television anchors replay the footage of burning wreckage in the Iranian desert night after night. Only months later, Carter would lose the presidency to Ronald Reagan, a direct result, many historians argue, of the humiliation from Eagle Claw. But out of failure comes change. The Pentagon vowed that nothing like Eagle Claw would ever happen again. The disaster exposed deep flaws in the U.S. military structure. Poor communication between branches, no unified chain of command, and inadequate training for joint special operations. In the aftermath, the U.S. created U.S. Special Operations Command, SOCOM, a unified command structure for elite units like Delta Force, Navy SEAL Team 6, and Air Force Special Tactics. New technology was developed: stealth helicopters, precision navigation systems, and advanced night vision gear. Joint training exercises became standard. The coordination that was missing at Desert One would become the backbone of every modern special operation. The men who died that night became symbols of sacrifice and transformation. Their deaths pushed the U.S. military to evolve, to become faster, more adaptable, and more lethal. Years later, those lessons would lead directly to some of America's greatest successes. The precision raid that killed Osama bin Laden in 2011, the lightning-fast rescues of POWs in Iraq and Afghanistan, the global network of special operations forces that now operates with surgical precision. All of it born from a failure in the desert. Operation Eagle Claw remains one of the darkest chapters in U.S. military history, a mission that failed spectacularly but changed everything. It proved that even the most powerful military on Earth is not immune to chaos, weather, and human error. But it also proved something else, that from failure comes innovation, because sometimes history's greatest disasters are what create the warriors of the future. The 8 men who died in that desert may not have completed their mission, but they set in motion a transformation that forever changed how America fights its wars. And that is the true legacy of Operation Eagle Claw.